Okay, Gino, the most interesting man on the internet right now.
Wow, that's high praise.
I mean,
That's a good title.
I like that.
I feel like it's
That should be in your
true.
bio.
What's wrong with it? Fuck yeah.
I like it.
Let's
Like,
print that
or
narrative.
internet or entrepreneur killer. Like, we got people running from you right now. There's so much I want to hear about. What's going on?
Not much, man. Just living, dude. Just trying to get the podcast, trying to reach pinnacle podcast levels, take over the podcasting game. You know, I'm obviously like a music guy, but
Right.
this has kind of been a fun second career wind. I don't know what you would call it.
Well, it's either second career. It's well, I don't know, right? Because I guess the question is, did you start this to help bring attention to the music, or did you? No.
Absolutely not. No, I've always been like making content on the internet, and I've tried everything. Like I did skits, and I've done like music content because obviously like I have the what's the word, the resume to like talk about stuff. And there's like it's just like, and I used to be an artist, so like I've created that kind of content as an artist. And I just, everyone's like, start a podcast. You start a podcast for years. And I always watch podcasts. But, it's like, oh, another white guy with a podcast. And I didn't want to be that, I guess. And also it was just daunting to like start another thing.
Right.
And finally I just was like, let's try it out. Let's see if it feels natural to me. Because if it felt like work, I wasn't going to do it. And I mean, literally just instantly it was like, oh.
It looks natural. Do you script your stuff out, or is it just watch a video
So
and rip it off the top?
So kind of. So basically I produce everything. So I think a lot of people think that my podcast, and you know how it is, we live in a society that just digests clips.
Right.
It's like clips. And we grew up in a long form era where you watched a show, right? And podcasts are inherently long form. And this is happening in stand-up comedy too. Like, your hour isn't even as important as like your crowd work clips. And then you just try to get people to come to your hour or come to your show or whatever, come see you live. So anyway, my show, like I have a full hour long show like you do, and it's like super produced out. Like I have like segments, and I have a main topic where I try to talk about, like the original plan of the show was to just be music, tech, and like pop culture, because that's what I live. And
Right.
I'm in this intersection of Web3 and music and AI. I work in those fields professionally, and I thought, oh, no one's really talking about this. That's interesting. Everything's boring as fuck. And when you hear like crypto bro at the bar, you're like, eh. So I was like, let me, and the music industry, which I'm sure we'll talk about, is just so fucked that I'm talking about solutions and like how I see it, et cetera, et cetera. So anyway, and then I just started, I'm a prolific shit talker. I'm an Italian from Detroit. And this is just like, I've always been this. And I've always done this on the internet. And I went viral a couple years ago making fun of this other guy. And like that content always really worked for me and was very natural to me.
Right.
I used to be a battle rapper. And I just started like, I kept seeing these fucking videos of entrepreneur bros,
Yeah.
which is funny because they're in the same species of crypto bro,
Right.
and everybody wants to make more money, and I get it, and I'm an entrepreneur, but I just kept seeing these videos of these guys who were just saying these like grandiose, ridiculous things because everybody's trying to go viral, and because you have to. But it's just like so exhausting in this day and age where everybody is trying to act so fucking rich and talk down on people that aren't and lie. Just fucking lie. Just lying and just yapping, right? And so I made fun of this guy. I don't even remember the first one. I just made fun of this guy who was doing it, and that video went nuts. So I was like, huh. I'd like, my videos are doing well, my clips are doing well, but that went nuts. And I come from the music world, and I know in music, you can't control what's going to go. Like, you don't know what people are going to like.
Right.
And, I've developed a lot of artists. And, like, when you're developing artists, you can't put them in a box in a certain style because you don't know what the people are going to react to. So, like, for Sweetie, for example, you don't know if they're gonna like the hip hop shit, if they're gonna like the pop leaning stuff, if they're gonna like, they don't know what they're gonna like. So you just put stuff out and then you see what reacts and then you double down on that and you go for that, right? So that's what I did with this kinda, and just was.
I mean, it took off. It's taking off.
Yeah.
So out of all the people out there, right? Who is your like go-to? Like, if I post this, dude, it's going bonkers.
There's like 3. One of them is this guy named Luke Belmar.
Oh, I don't know him.
Yeah, he's just the yapping king, the king of the yap, dude. He's got this thing called Capital Club. He's just like a. They all have different characteristics, you know what I'm saying? He's just like a smug motherfucker. Which, by the way, I'm a shit talker. So, like, game recognized game. But he'll just be like, I can't even describe it. It's just absurd. So that's one.
And he talks about making money. He's an entrepreneur, online.
And he's a crypto guy. So he's like a crypto adjacent, crypto bro, entrepreneur bro.
Right.
He's one. He's a younger dude. Chris Crone is my favorite. Hands down.
He's most people's favorite.
Hands down.
Yeah.
A treasure.
Yeah.
I mean, just. And I think people think that I like hate these guys. And I don't hate. First of all, I don't hate anybody.
Right.
I don't know you.
Right.
But I'm gonna make fun of you.
Did you do a piece on his morning routine clip?
Oh yeah, that's the one that.
That one is so good.
That's one of my most viral clips, right? And the morning routine shit is so funny because I'm a morning guy. Like, I think that there is something to be said about having a great morning routine, waking up early, But it's like, yeah, you got to wake up at 2 a.m. and cold plunge, and then I meditate on my treadmill, and then I fucking walk backwards, and the mind palace, which is what, yeah. So he has this thing about he's got this mind palace, and it's like manifestation, which is important. Like, you want to think positive thoughts, but it's like, dude. The mind palace, So anyway, people are just like,
just waiting for the day that somebody gives a real running. I wake up, I'm in the bathroom for like 40 minutes.
Yeah, I just sit on my toilet on my phone.
I do nothing. It takes me an hour to actually wake up, and then I go about my day.
Yeah, that's what most people do. I'm in the shower for just too long. Why am I still in the shower? And then my favorite is Andy Elliott.
I don't know Andy Elliott.
I'm looking him up right now.
Take your shirt off.
No, dude. Chris
okay?
Cron, I knew that one was coming.
Chris is great. Andy Elliott is like a car salesman. He's like the car salesman final boss, dude.
This is your number one.
Oh, I know who he is.
I've seen this guy. You've seen this guy.
You've seen
He's
him.
a fucking like Navy SEAL.
Andy Elliott.
He would.
Oh, yeah.
He would beat the shit out of me,
I
right?
know him.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's a savage.
So he's a nut, and his wife is also like a militant. Like,
was he a Navy SEAL? He's an actual Navy SEAL?
I think he's an actual Navy SEAL. And another viral clip I had was he's like at a conference that he throws, and he's like, hey, Garrett, come up here. This like, just like chalky, pasty white guy. Come up here, Garrett. Take your shirt off, Garrett. In front of like all these people, he's like, go ahead, take your shirt off. And he's just like got like normal dad bod, because he's just like a regular 35-year-old white guy. And he's like just grilling this guy for not having a fucking six pack. He's like, do you even give a shit about yourself? Anyway, he just like lambasted this guy publicly. And these you think these guys were masochists? They just like, oh yeah, like chew me up and spit me out, Andy. It's just like nuts, man. So yeah, that's probably my Mount Rushmore.
Right. Those are the three.
Of entrepreneur.
Three faces on the mountain.
Have any of them ever reached out to you?
No, but
well, I saw Brad Lee. I saw this one.
Brad Lee. It was a great sport.
Did you ever meet up? Did you ever link up with him? Did you do his podcast?
We're DMing. We're talking.
Because I haven't met him yet.
Yeah.
But as what I would think, there's some similarities between you two.
Absolutely.
Right?
Well, that's why, so he has a video where he's like, if you wear a suit, you're, why would you wear a suit if you're a boss? That's what he says. Which is like...
Love it, though.
So funny. And I regret to inform you, guy wearing a suit jacket right now.
That's okay.
You're not a boss.
It's actually a rarity, believe it or not.
But so anyway, I'm like, well, I wear suits sometimes.
Right.
So I'm just like, dude, like, what are you fucking talking about? And I'm also kind of a style icon. So whenever someone talks fashion, I take offense to it, and I want to. Anyway, he was a great sport. We kind of went back and forth. He made a video of my video, and then I made a video of his video, and it was reactionception. But we've been on DM because a lot of people were like, dude, you and Brad would actually get along. He's
Yeah, for
also
sure.
a shit talker. And
Yeah.
and he is like, a lot of these motherfuckers are also like scammers and like grifters.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of this stems from. Like, I feel bad for people who fall for this shit. I mean, they target, like, the economy is, for many, great, but for most, in shambles. Right. People are in, like, the middle class is just completely melting away. And people are, like, they're down bad. And they see people like this who are just like, you're poor because you're an idiot and you need to buy my course and maybe I can help you.
Right.
And they can't. Because unlike you, they don't actually teach anything.
Right.
They're just like selling courses on. It's just like a pyramid scheme of bullshittery, and it's
Okay, so I don't disagree. Like,
Yeah.
You look at Brad. Brad runs an actual like business.
Yeah, runs a
like
business.
big business.
Yeah.
So out of that group, right? You have some people that are using the strategy that we all use,
Yeah.
right? Like, how can I grab attention? And then out of that attention, there's going to be a percentage of people that just spend time looking at what you're doing, and they go, "Oh, Gino, you're funny," or like, "Oh, Mikey, I'm fun." Like, and then they end up becoming followers. And then
Yeah.
if you sell a product or service, maybe you have a consumer in there as well, right? But then you have the other people that you're referring to that like they're selling nothing, right?
Yeah.
Selling a dream,
Vaporware.
in a sense, right? Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
Are there people though that you see in the entrepreneur influencer space where you go, I actually like that. Oh, that guy's actually good.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think people like...
So you've got the 3 fan favorites. Sorry to cut you off. You got the 3 fan favorites that
Yeah.
their material is going nuts, right? And you're gonna feed off it well, and the audience is gonna love it. Do you have another 3 where you're like, these guys are actually solid?
Mikey,
I don't know.
probably one of them.
I mean, you did kind of lob that one up.
think he's
and
like,
no,
and he almost had to
if
say
you
your
think
name
of
on that.
anybody...
You don't have to say my name at all.
I mean, you put it out there.
Put me on the Mount
If you
Rush-
didn't say your name, it
I
would
know,
have
if I was
been,
to say
it would
my
have been a
name-
very awkward remainder
Yo,
of the
put
show.
me on the Mount Rushmore with the boys.
Honestly, like, yeah, I mean, I think
Like,
anybody...
do we listen to Ray Dalio? Do we listen to anything on Alex Hormozy?
Oh, Alex Hormozy. I completely forgot about Alex Hormozy. Okay, so Alex Hormozy is a very fascinating specimen. Another one of my most viral videos for 2 reasons. One, because his fans are fucking nuts, dude. And I was getting like the craziest comments and DMs from these
Taylor Swift
motherfuckers.
stuff.
Like, yeah, like, oh yeah, you want to talk shit about Alex? Like, I'm in LA. I see you're in it. Like, shit, you know.
He's the guy with the beard that wears the hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
right?
puts
So-
a band like a
the nose breathing
nose,
thing.
yeah.
So I'm glad you asked that because I think he actually like.
Yeah, I'm actually really curious to know your thoughts on him.
I think he's smart as fuck, and I think he actually, I haven't really like dove into, but I've seen a lot of great stuff from him, and he is knowledgeable and is, I think he's like, but he also says some crazy shit. So like, I think what people need to understand is, where I grew up, you just talk shit. You clown stuff. And it's not always like, I fucking hate you. Like, the reason I'm so good at talking shit is I was like, iron sharpens iron. Like, me and my friends used to just grill each other and cook each other every day. Like, you couldn't come to school not ready. Like, you had to put on the gloves every day. And if you swing and miss, it's 10 times worse. You know what I mean? So like, we used to have this thing where like, you'd say like a bad joke, and then somebody would be like, nah, that ain't it. And then everybody would just, it would literally be like, nah, that ain't it. And that was the most ether like cook, Anyway, so with Alex Hormozy, like he said some shit like, it was like, you got to work hard. Like, if look at slaves. Like, if they can work hard, so can I, basically. And it's just like, dude, And you knew when he made that clip, he had to post that clip. He knew that it was going to get that reaction.
Right.
So, like, people make clips to go viral.
Right.
I'm going to help you. But it might not be in the way that you thought it was going to go.
Oh, it's gonna be a whole new way of me creating content. What can I post?
How can I trigger?
Shoot a little text. Yo, can you-
Batshit crazy thing I could say today.
Yeah. No, I'm with you, man. I mean, there's there's an argument to be made that like there's social media is like can be such a powerful tool for what we're doing.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
But if you look at the incentive structure, well, if you are incentivized by getting views, you're constantly kind of pushing the boundaries to get those views, right? And then all of a sudden you're saying crazy stuff. So I'm with you on that one. I mean, we fall victim to it. Like
that's the thing. You have to pander to the algorithm, and you have to do things that are going to grab attention. And you just need to ask yourself every time you post anything, okay, do I actually believe what I'm saying? Does this align with me morally?
Right.
And like, I'll post stuff that I know people are going to react to, and like, I'll play into it because you have to,
Right.
you know, and that's what comedians do. And that's what everyone does.
Right.
That's what we do with music. But you just gotta be ready to, because the internet comes for everyone.
Yeah, that's right.
And this is something I know, you know, I don't have some crazy dark twisted past. Like, thank God I never was like, I'm not going to have any Me Too things come up. But I know there's going to be a day where I say something that like is misconstrued or whatever. The internet comes for everybody.
Right.
You can't escape it.
Yeah, that's right.
And especially someone like me who's a shit talker, you know? So you just got to make sure whatever you say, you actually can stand on.
Have you run into anybody yet? Have you bumped into Chris in real life?
No. Dude, I DM'd Chris to get him on the show. Like, I want to talk to these people.
Right. Do
I
any of them
think
hit you back? Or are they just like, I'm effing with you?
Brad is the only one who's like ever tapped in with me.
Right.
I honestly I would love to talk to any of these guys, except for Andy. I'm not trying to talk to that motherfucker. He's just like,
I don't know him at all.
I don't fuck with that guy.
Yeah.
But like Chris, I think is just hilarious. And like,
What about like a Goggins? Would you want a Goggins on your show?
Yeah, dude.
Oh,
absolutely.
I love
Goggins is a different type of beast. In my perspective,
I think he's the most real of them.
Well, I
all.
don't think he's saying things to try to break the algorithm.
No.
I think he 100% believes every single thing that comes out of his mouth, like to like a
Yeah, he terrifies me.
yes.
I'd love to talk to
he's
him.
like a yeah.
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
love to have him too.
Yeah.
All right, dude. So simultaneously, like you're phenomenal at talking crap in a way that's funny and playful, right? But you're also talking about stuff that's resonating with the generation. Like this is how we got connected, right?
Yeah.
I saw a video that you did on, I don't know who the guy was, but everybody before they're 30 needs to own 10 rental properties.
My most famous piece.
right?
He just showed me that one too.
And I did a video
Yes.
responding to you, and then we DM'd.
Yes.
And I was like, bro, like let's link up, right?
Yeah.
Well, just this morning, Tawny was asking about you coming in, right? And then our compliance officer, Austin, said the same thing. I'm like, let's watch him. So we watched this video, and both of them are millennials, right?
Yeah.
And you're talking about basically like, how am I going to buy 10 rental properties by the time I'm 30 when I can't even buy one?
Yeah.
And you're looking at them, they're glued in. They're like, yep, right? They're resonating with everything you say. And then they look at me and they go, how did you respond to that? Right? Like, like you're on the wrong side was the look they gave me, right?
Yeah.
And then I showed them basically my video, and they were like, okay, it was interesting, their feedback. I basically said, look, one way you can do this is like the obvious way, it's conventional. You save your money and you try to buy somewhere out of California that's like not crazy expensive yet.
Yeah.
Or, look, you can raise money. You can use other people's money, bring investors in. And their response was, you know what? That was a good idea. Like, not everybody lives in California. Like, there still are homes you could buy for $300,000, not $1 million,
Yeah.
right? But then they looked at me on the raising money, like, not everybody could do that. Like, what do you mean? How do you do that? And all of a sudden, I felt like some of the guys that you.
It's tough. It's so for context. So this is my Mona Lisa, this video he's talking about.
He showed me
It's like deeply entrenched in my lore now. Like all my comments are like, so this video is this like Southern dude. I don't remember his name, but he's like, if you can own 10 rental homes before you're 30, you can have generational wealth. You can start flipping rental home, and you're making passive income. That's how he talks, right? So the idea that like to what you're talking about, that knee jerk 20 rental homes before I'm 30, like I can't even buy one fucking house. Like, what are you talking about? Is, again, I think most people are just like, they're check to check. A lot of people are like victims of the gig economy. Like it's just really hard. And so when they see a video like that, it's like, well, yeah, I'd love to have 20 rental homes before I'm 30. And I think a reason that the video went, and this is to, not to like pat myself on the back, but to your point, what makes a clip viral is I think it's quick. It's you don't have a lot of time, right, to keep people's attention. So there's the trigger, which is the first 2 seconds, which is like him saying something ridiculous. If you can own 10 homes before you're 30, you're like, well, that's already crazy. What's this guy gonna say? Right. And then I said, that's it? Oh, that's all I gotta do? You know? And it's like, people can't do that, most people. But to your point, which is important, and I think where we hit it off, and I think why this convo would be interesting no matter what, you did it, or I don't know if it was before 30, but you got into real estate, and you can get into real estate. And I think, like, I don't want my message to be like, oh, like, I'll never get into real estate. Right. It's too expensive. It's just like the oversimplification of economic struggle that most people are saying, and just the I guess the privilege that it says for someone that age, you know, also. Right. It's like, bro, like, I would have bought 10 homes before 30 if it was 1974, and homes were 80 grand in Michigan.
And you were still making 2024.
And I was making, like, of course. Yeah. And I think it's, you know, and to your point, like, I have my friend, it's funny, when you made your video, before I even saw it, one of my business partners and, like, good friends DM me, he's like, bro, Mikey Taylor just made a video to your, I'm like, Mikey Taylor, the skater? He's like, yeah. And then he sent it, and he's like, and he has 10 rental homes. Right. And he's like 31. So, like, he did it, and you can do it, right? But he also, like, is breaded. And I think,
and I would look with the part, like, I don't disagree with what you're saying. Like, that's like the first and foremost. Like, it is not all good out there. I'm with you on that one, right? I guess and I think that's why it went viral, right? You touched on an emotion that people are feeling, right? My whole point is this, like, I lucked out in a sense and had somebody come into my life early and start even showing me what this world was, right? Yeah. Without that, no, I had no chance, right? And so I think, like, at least for me, it's like, okay, out of that percentage of people that could do it, how do you preach an optimistic message that might change one person's outlook? For sure. And then anybody beyond one, sick, right? But that's not, like, taking away from the reality of the situation.
And I really respect that. Right. And that is important, because it's like, you know, I'm just on the other side of that. Right. But I think, like, if you had me describe my show or message or whatever in one word, it's nuance.
100%.
And, like, there's going to be a time, like, I'm not going to do this forever, like, make fun of entrepreneur bros. I'm just not, it gets stale. Things get stale. And I think, like, you have to be able to, and that's why I put out other content too. Right. But in all my content, the one through line is nuance. And we live in a time where, like, algorithms have pulled us all the way here or all the way here. Not only politically, but, like, just in terms of, like, way of thinking. Right. And it's not really people's fault. You're being fed, like, you get into these cycles and these holes of content where if you're looking at, like, the negative side of it, like, if you're in the overly negative, times are bad, capitalism's the worst thing that ever happened side of it, you're inherently going to become so cynical and just be like, well, I fucking give up. Fuck this shit. Like, I'm moving to Vietnam. I'm out of here, you know? And then if on the other side of it, you get into the, like, maybe they'll watch a video from you and they're like, oh, yeah, tight. And then they just end up in the Luke Belmar side of it. And it's like, oh, my God, I'm a poor, broke fucking loser. I got to buy this. And where we get along and, like, where we align is that nuance of, like, we're just slightly on different sides of that spectrum. Yeah, totally. But you're selling real info and, like, something that somebody who has the means to do it should go do and should learn how to do and how to get into it. And, you know, off camera, I might need to tap in with you, my boy. I'm trying to get some real estate knowledge. Yeah. But, like, that's the kind of, like, those conversations are important. That kind of content is really important, you know?
What do you think about selling information, like, in general?
Like data?
No, like courses.
Oh, selling courses.
So we don't do that, but it's just like...
We've gone down that path.
We talk about that all the time.
5 times. I think we've written 3 courses. Yeah. And every time we write it and then review it, we're like... It's good, but we don't feel comfortable putting a price on this information yet. And then we just end up rolling it out in the free format.
Yeah.
Because to your point earlier, they made this at the beginning, how many courses are out there that are very enticing because the people that are selling it are good at selling it. They buy the course and the information is garbage.
Yeah.
And we didn't want to fall victim to that because I think we built such a loyal base over the years that to put something out there that really was an incredible value add to everybody for a price point just didn't make sense. So, I mean, we did 3 courses that we ended up not putting out.
So let me ask you this, just outside looking in, like our business, like we make money by basically having investors come in to the real estate we're doing. And, you know, when we perform, there's a profit split.
Yeah.
So it's simple, is to keep it as simple as possible. But even in that, like due to regulation, like we can only have accredited investors come in, which now you're talking about 1% of the population, right? And so that's just something like we talk about a lot. Like, should we have something that, you know, is some type of product or service for those who aren't in a position to invest with us yet, or is free content service that? You know,
It's tough because, yeah, like the stigma of the course is where somebody like me, like if I didn't know you.
Gino's cooking us, bro. We're gonna launch our.
No. If I didn't know you and you had a course, I'm initially apprehensive. Now I'm like, oh.
Yeah, that's right.
And also subconsciously what would start happening to you is you, as guys who sell, you have to start selling your course because you've monetized this and now you're thinking, buy my course. So you're going to just, and you may be able to fight back those demons, but they're going to be there. And I think somebody who like, a lot of people are like, make a video on Gary Vee, right? But I fuck with Gary and I'm friends
That's
with
what I was going to ask.
And I'm
Like,
friends
what's
with
your thoughts
Gary.
on yeah.
I'm friends with Gary. What Gary preaches, and I think is so important, and really what he stands on, is like content, free, content, free. And you got to think, like people, it is so hard to capture people's attention now. It's damn near impossible. And if you can capture people's attention and you can give them something, you know, and just continue to give them something, they'll continue to come back. And once you put a price on it, I do think that like it changes the taste in people's mouth and in your fans' mouth. All of a sudden and if things aren't going well and they're paying you and they aren't having, then they're kind of like off it. And then things just kind of start to, so I don't know, like, I don't think there's anything wrong with like paying people to learn what you know, like I guess like, and again, like I've had people ask me for like songwriting courses. I should do a songwriting course. I should do like a master class. I think a product like master class where it's like a company and it's like, you know, you're going to, you know what you're doing, like to go to a master class. You're
Like an
paying,
actual curriculum by
Yeah.
people that are qualified and
that make it and structure it. I don't know. I don't really have an answer. That
it's a hard one, right?
a
Because
hard
I,
one.
like
I
I
don't
do
know.
think there's value in it. Like
For sure.
I do think considering that the person providing the information actually did what they said they did. And
Yes.
they're qualified and it's good. I think there's value there.
Yeah.
And like I would way rather pay for that information than go to school personally.
for sure.
Right?
Absolutely.
But then the challenge you have and the distaste in all of our mouths is half of these people are selling something they never did, right? They buy one Airbnb and all of a sudden they teach you how to invest in Airbnb and right. And so then you're like, okay, you just look at it as everybody being a fraud, even though not everyone is. That's a hard one. It's I mean, we've been talking about this for years.
We've been talking literally.
There's
years.
probably a reason you haven't pulled the trigger.
Well, there is.
Yeah.
The distaste that you have in your mouth, like I still, that's the first thing I feel as well.
I think it's more important. I think you're better off putting resources into growing your exposure to free.
Right.
I mean, your platform gets big enough, you won't give a fuck about selling a course. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it won't even.
Right.
If this podcast becomes like,
Right.
you know, and as you grow as a figure, and like you
Right.
guys are just like guys,
Right.
it just doesn't. And so same for me, like. People are like, yo, launch Patreon. Why don't you put your show on, like, why don't you sell your shit on, like, as a NFT, Web3, token gated? I'm like, because I want as many people to digest as much shit as they can
Right.
and just see me fucking everywhere.
Right. So, dude, do you mind me asking you, like,
Yeah.
as far as the way you make money,
Yeah.
what does that look like? I don't need to know how much, but like,
I have, I'm Again, I'm an open book. I make all my money from clips on TikTok
Really?
from this podcast. Yeah. So
Oh.
my podcast, the main source of monetization right now, because again, like I've only had the show for like 6 or 7 months, and the long form is like growing slowly but surely.
It's on what, YouTube and all.
It's
the
on
podcast?
all the platforms. The long form on YouTube is like doing pretty. I mean, that's growing slowly, but the clips. I'm in the TikTok creator program, the creativity program
I'm
beta
in that
or whatever.
too, yeah.
And boy, some of these, I'm like, why am I doing music again? You know?
So what did, like, if you like what are we talking? Like a $4,000 check,
Like-
an $8,000
like,
check,
yeah.
dang.
Yeah, a month sometimes, and it's never like, you know, it's up and down depending on like if a clip goes crazy or if I have like a down month. But like it's enough money where I'm like, you know, you look at music, dude. I've had songs that are #1 on radio for 3 months, that are triple platinum, and I'm looking at these TikTok checks and I'm like, there's no money in music.
Right.
So all my money that I make from music now, because publishing doesn't pay shit, PR like DSPs don't pay anything. It's like 1/3 of a cent a stream.
Right.
All my money from music comes from, like, I have a day rate, I have a fee, and like if you're not going to pay it, then go fuck yourself.
So then what do like young kids do that like want to become musicians or get into the music industry? Like, is
I-
it just no, or is it you have to go a different path?
Okay.
Be
What
a
I
TikTok.
always
Right.
Yeah, what I always say is, first of all, there is so much music being released. There's, I think, 40 million songs a year released now. If you don't love it, if you're not willing to do it for 10 years at a loss, literally don't do it. The problem is with music, a lot of people make music because they grow up with idols that are musicians, and they want to make music for the wrong reasons. They want to be famous, they want bitches, they want money. If you want money, tap in with Mikey Taylor and get into real estate. Don't come in, like, you are not going to make money unless you literally become Drake.
Right.
Or Juice WRLD or Lil Uzi, or like, you got to be a rapper. You know what I mean? And if you're trying to be a songwriter or a producer, which most people that get into music to be an artist end up there because you really don't want to be an artist. You think you do. And then you're like, damn, I don't have this in me, especially now where you need to be creating content more than you're creating music.
Yep.
And so if you don't want to do it for those reasons, and another thing, 40 million songs released a year, that's right now, but with AI and the output that we're going to see, I'm telling you, we're going to see a 10x in the next 3 years
Of
in the amount of
non-human
music released.
Just
Of
pure
just
AI.
of just AI affiliated music.
So like a person using
I-
tools, like if you can put out
I can't.
10 songs a day by yourself, now
can.
all of a sudden you'll be able to do 100 yourself a day.
I
something like
literally
that.
can go on Suno AI. I can enter, you know, and I did this live on my show. It was like a song about a rap song, top 40, pop leaning, about getting women and luxury clothing. And it kicks out a 2-minute song that I own full rights to in 6 seconds. And I own it. So if I wanted, I could go upload 100 songs a day on Spotify and build a catalog, and that's what people are going to do. It's why Spotify implemented their threshold.
Okay, so what does that do long term? Like we talk about the middle class getting gutted and the situation we're in. What is, because there's a part of that that's exciting. I'm with you. On
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the productivity side, that's exciting. Like you mean like I could be like 10 people in one? Like let's go.
I'm a proponent of AI.
Okay, so
And
what
I
is
work
it?
in AI.
But look, I'm a proponent of real estate. I'm a
Yeah.
proponent of business. I also know the cons with it or the challenges that come with it as well, right?
Yeah.
What are some of the challenges that we're going to be facing?
I mean, the reality is, like, music today is fast fashion. It's destroying the music environment. The price of music is just, I mean, it's next to nothing.
Right.
It's worthless, both literally and figuratively. And the golden age of creators and celebrity, I mean, that's really another part of it, is that social media has created the birth of so many celebrities that if everybody's fucking famous,
Right.
you know, the death of celebrity.
Right.
And that coupled with the output of music and people making music for the algorithm, because the only way you're going to have anybody listen to your music is if you can capture the attention economy. And the labels know it. And because the labels know it, no matter how far you are, you know, and it used to be like, well, how many followers do you have? And that was like the early gripe. But now it's literally, we're not going to put money into this unless it's moving. And the reality, they're kind of fucking themselves, the labels, because eventually people are going to realize, well, why am I signing a deal with you if you're not even going to contribute marketing? And your only marketing is go make UGC that's going to move on socials. It's like, motherfucker, I'm doing it for you.
Well, yeah,
you
the
know?
reality is they're not going to. Like,
No.
you know, you're even seeing that with, like, you know, you're watching all these TikTok lives and these like NPCs and like basically where Amazon, and you're seeing TikTok kind of make a run at this as well, is they're creating your product, they're managing the inventory, they're selling it. They're basically allowing you to be a business without having to be a business owner, an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
If that's happening there, it's going to happen in music. It's going to happen everywhere. So I think that's going to go away sure.
I just talked about this on my last episode. Plug, go listen to Good Luck with Gino on also podcast and YouTube. I just talked about how
Links below.
Yeah, we'll need those.
We got them. We got you. Yeah,
below.
You give me the descriptions.
But I talk about how in this age we have fallen victim to the everything economy, where all this access, which seemed great, has actually fucked us completely. And how we used to look down on the gatekeepers. And the gatekeepers, be it in entertainment or wherever, where, you know, if you wanted to be an artist, you needed to get signed to a label. And once you signed to that label, you couldn't just go out and put out your own content. You didn't have any control over the marketing of it. All you were was an artist. You just were the artist. You showed up for video shoots. You showed up at the studio. You went to radio interviews. You toured, and that was it. And also coupled with why celebrity was what it was, there was the mystique and the mystery. Well, now companies like Amazon and TikTok have completely gutted the gatekeeper. You can do it. You have the access. You're the entrepreneur. And at first it's like, sick. This is great. Anybody can do it. And the problem is anybody can do it. And because we don't have these gatekeepers, yes, they're bad for other reasons, but because there's no gatekeepers, there's nobody keeping the gates. And because there's nobody keeping the gates, you have to do all these things that you thought were just so easy to do. You don't have a $100 million marketing team behind you. You don't have access to radio and access to all the other people that are at this. You don't have any of those connections. You're just a regular fucking dude in Indiana. You don't have any of that stuff. You don't know what you're doing. And everybody else is trying to do it at the same time. And you're competing with all those people. If you're a musician, you're competing with me. If you're a basketball influencer, you're competing with me. If you have a fucking real estate podcast, you're competing with me. If you're just like somebody trying to sell your paintings online, you're competing with me. And everybody is trying to get the same 15 minutes of fame. And there's nobody keeping the gates.
Okay, so
you know?
I do. But now, do you think this is fair to say that there's still a gatekeeper? Just the competition of the gatekeepers have changed, right? If these were the gatekeepers, the Amazons and the tech, you know, TikToks and Instagram, they just removed the bottom level gatekeeper. Now they sit at a higher level. So they've opened up the doors for them, right? For them, I'm going to argue they're probably in a better position today than the last gatekeepers.
The only gatekeepers are big tech.
Okay, so that's what it is, big tech.
Literally.
Government, nothing,
and
it's all tech.
It's tough because, again, I'm a tech guy.
Right.
And I love tech.
Right.
And I think tech is disruptive and it's pushing society forward in some ways. But, like, these guys don't give a fuck about art.
Right.
And they don't care about you. Because also, it's a capitalistic society and it's a rat race. And that's what's scary about AI, is that it's a rat race. And my fear for music and everything else is the people that are in charge of pushing this technology forward are not thinking about, you know, the creative. And the problem is also the creatives who are like they don't want to play ball. Mm-hmm. They're just like, fuck AI. we need it. And again, like, just to bring it all home, where I'm trying to land is the nuance in the middle of like, hey, my songwriting and producing and artist peers, this shit's dope. We need it. It's going to be good for us as artists. But like, we need to walk across the aisle and actually have dialogue and talk to these tech guys. They need to make their money. We need to figure out what it's going to be, because it's not going to be all like, if you look at the SAG strike and the WGA strike and what's happening on the music side right now, with TikTok and Universal, like, no one wants to play ball, and it's just, it's not going to work that way. You're not going to win.
No, it's not. We went through the same thing in skating industry. Like, when we went from film to digital on the cameras, right? You had so many photographers that were like, I'm not doing the digital stuff. This isn't real photography, right? And they got left behind.
Yeah.
You know, there was a moment where like they got away with it, and then all of a sudden it was like they had to either pivot or they just niched down so far that there was no one that cared, you know?
And if you look at Universal and what's going to happen with Universal,
I agree.
They're fucked because they don't have the leverage. TikTok does not need Universal. Universal needs TikTok, especially what I was just talking about. Like, they don't market anymore.
Right.
So it's like you're eliminating the biggest growth engine for your artists, and you're gonna have to come back to the table with your fucking dick between your legs. Sorry, can I say that?
You say what he's Gino. Don't
Yeah,
let
no.
this rip.
Anyway.
Okay, so out of the, you know, you got the entrepreneurs, Navy SEAL.
Yeah.
You're tapping into some political energy here.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
We got the
It's gonna
Trump never surrender. We got the frog pronouns.
Yeah.
Do you see a difference in the responses when you go political versus?
Yeah.
What? I imagine that's the gnarliest one you
It's
get.
gnarly. So when I make fun of the entrepreneur bros, pretty much everyone's on my side. You know? But again, I talk about everything, and no one's safe. And a lot of people, what's really fun about my my content and my audience is people don't know what I am. And one of my first viral videos is the frog video. One of the first viral videos I ever had was a video where this girl's like, let's talk about frog pronouns, frog self. And I'm just like, and I that's absurd. It's objectively absurd. Now, I'm a liberal for the most part, but I'm not Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I lean liberal, like, on social issues, obviously, but we're not going to call people frogs, right? And so that's kind of like, so I had that video go crazy viral. It was like probably the most viral video I've ever had.
And then you get a lot of conservatives that are
I got
following
like
you.
20,000 Republican followers out of nowhere. And then my next video was about Kid Rock shooting the Bud Light cans, and I'm fucking clowning him and like conservatives who are like not going to drink Bud Light because like a trans influencer did a partnership with them. Like, you guys are relax, dude. It's not that deep, you know? And so...
And that's how he lost 20,000.
And that's like, yeah, but it just... I will put out a video making fun of the pronoun, like the crazy pronoun stuff. And again, there's nuance.
Right.
So I have no problem with trans, they, them, cool. Not going to call people frogs. I'll take a video like that. The Republicans are fucking fired up. And I feel like most Democrats are like, yeah, that's crazy. But then I make fun of Trump's shoes, and it looks like the insurrection in my comment section. You know what I mean? So it's like, I just keep, but I always am, again.
Now, are these from people that follow you, or
Both.
are these people that are tapping in? Because when I watch it, it comes off more as a comedian, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know, listen to Dave Chappelle talk about both sides, and it's funny because like how he's highlighting kind of funny parts of both sides, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of how you feel to me.
Yeah, good.
And if I was a follower of yours, you know, I wouldn't be threatened to leave because of that.
That's
but
been the
if I
response.
tapped in on some, you know, like I'm just like on, you know, what do you want to call it? Republican or political style content,
Yeah.
or even Democrat political style content, and I tapped into something you said, well, I don't know you. I don't know what you're talking about. I was like, bro, this is no, and I'm here for my opinion.
And that's where the fighting usually comes from. It's cool. Like, as I've grown, like, I've watched it happen in real time. Early on, it was like my followers, like unfollowed, like, you know,
I get those too.
whatever, you know, and just really vicious stuff that they thought would hurt me that just ended up getting them cooked. But as I've grown and people kind of get it now, it's been way less of that, and it's really just new people. Like when I made fun of the Ben Shapiro rapping and like Tom McDonald, like a lot of Republicans were like, yeah, this is dog shit. Like I'm a Republican, but this is horrible objectively. And like I guess just as I'm really excited for this election cycle because like I think
You're gonna get some good
I'm gonna
content.
fucking eat. Oh, I'm gonna eat.
You're like,
I'm chomping at the bit, bro. You know, I'm like ready. But I'm hoping that we'll start to, it's going to sound so corny. I'm trying to start a movement of just, these guys both fucking suck, dude. And most Americans, unless you're MAGA pilled or just like crazy left and delusional, both of these guys suck. They just suck.
you're
They're
talking about
just-
Trump Biden.
Yeah, Trump and Biden. They just both suck.
Right.
And neither of these sides have your best interest at heart. So just stop being such a blind fucking moron and just think objectively. And like this side can do dumb stuff and this side can do dumb stuff. And for the love of God, can we get somebody that is just normal and thinks for like, you know,
No.
I'm running for president.
No,
So
you
I'm gonna
can't.
run for
You
president.
can't because the incentive structure is not designed to
I know,
get that
I get
person.
that, I know.
Yeah, but you know what though? You're not wrong. But I think there's actually a part of it that you didn't mention that I think is actually more powerful than. How could I say this? There's such a divide right now that if you're not on my team, I hate you.
Yes.
Right. And most people are actually more in the middle. It's
Yeah.
usually center left, center right, and then the fewer are the further out, right? And you have most of them that I think actually are all good doing life with one another. They have different beliefs. They
Yeah.
can talk about those beliefs, but they don't want to hate you.
Right.
Right. You are creating a scenario where the people that follow you that are Republicans don't feel like you hate them when you're talking about something silly. And same with Democrats, right?
Yes.
That is probably, I think, even more important because we ultimately will have to get to a place where we can all do life again.
Right.
Because the rubber will hit the road. And I think that's what we're all feeling right now. Like, this isn't healthy. This isn't sustainable. Like, what happens?
Mikey, I'm really trying to heal this
I
country.
love that. You're bigger than, yep, that's
I'm
right.
just really trying. I'm really
Campaign
a
slogan starts.
Yeah.
I'm a philanthropist.
But the reality is, and when he talks about the incentive structure, if you ever wanted
Yes.
to run on that message, you'd never win.
Right.
You would never get the side to give you the backing that you would need to even get the votes you would have to get elected.
But I'm
It's
down
just-
being Bernie Sanders. Popular.
I feel, well,
What's up?
look,
Well, RFK, right?
is probably the
RFK.
biggest figure.
Yeah, but he's like kind of a fucking lunatic also.
Let me ask you something seriously. Do you
Yeah.
have to be a little bit of a lunatic to run
sure.
for president?
For
Period.
sure.
Like,
I didn't
you're
say-
talking about something that's
Again, I didn't say I don't like him.
Yeah.
I just said he's like kind of a fucking lunatic. And maybe if I did run one day, I would have to be a lunatic.
Yeah.
You got to be a lunatic to run
I mean,
for
the
president.
reality is like presidential campaigns is never about who you like. It's always about picking the least of all evils.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah,
and that's ultimately what the decision comes down to, because there's never been a political candidate that I've ever looked at and said, I agree with 100% of what this person
I
says.
love this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's, but all that, yeah, like to your point about me, which is a great point, because you were flattering me. I think it's like,
Yeah, I'm just highlighting the fact you're changing the world. That's
yeah,
all.
it would be cool if we could go into this campaign, or just in general, algorithmically, if the discourse can be a little bit more,
Right.
and I, like I was talking about earlier, yeah, like the algorithms are pulling us all the way over here, all the way over here. If we can start having people who are doing this work,
Right.
yeah, maybe we can start to like not hate each other so much. Hopefully, would be tight.
What happens after this election?
I mean, Trump's gonna win.
Trump's going to win.
That's your call?
Yeah, we're
You think
fucked.
Biden runs this thing
We're
out?
cooked.
You think
Biden
Biden
fucked the Democrats completely.
You think Michelle?
fucked him.
You think Michelle steps in at the DNC? That's the big conspiracy theory on the Republican
I don't think
side
she's
now.
going to.
I don't think so either.
I mean,
I don't think she wants
It's an
it.
interesting
I
conspiracy.
don't know why
that's
she
brewing.
would, but I would. I mean, she would maybe have a chance.
So-
actually. She would get Democrats out to vote. The problem with Biden,
You think Biden cooked the Democrats because he ran on something and then
he
didn't-
ran? That's why he cooked them.
Right.
He should have been like, I'm going to be a one-term president. They could have bred the next one, whoever it was. They could have picked him a couple years ago, started getting them, and could have gone out and won.
Does
Instead-
Biden debate Trump?
No, there's no debates. There's no debates.
He's going to have to.
You think so?
Does he?
Oh, he's going to get cooked, man.
I don't think he's
He's
gonna-
not a bad debater. Actually.
I don't think he's gonna.
Biden's actually a pretty good. That's why he won the first time. He's actually a pretty good debate, but he's so old now.
I would say Biden was. I'm
Yeah.
not sure he'll be able to debate.
He's just
When the last debates,
geriatric.
I think everybody expected him to be like he is now. Like you want to be able to get a word out of his face.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh dang, you're like
Yeah.
actually decent up there.
Not anymore.
This is not
They're
the
gonna
same-
have
yeah.
to fucking shoot him up with so much amphetamines. And,
Yeah.
I mean, he's
Yeah.
cooked, man. God bless him. Retire, dude. Call it, dude.
Well, Trump did give him an out from the debates, though.
Yeah, I don't think there's a debate. I really don't think.
Well,
there's a
I
debate.
mean,
I mean,
Trump.
The fact that
Biden
Trump
can
didn't
easily play
go to
like
the
Trump.
deba-
You didn't debate
Yeah,
at all.
that's what I
You,
think, too.
I'm following suit with what
The
you
only
did. I
way
don't
Trump
debate.
doesn't win is if he goes to jail, which he might also. I don't know, man. It could be fucking like Nikki Haley. It's just a disaster. Are you kidding me? Is this the best we could do? It's a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
This country is fucked, dude. It's cooked. There's no way we don't have like.
Vote for Gino.
Seriously, I would literally go up on stage and be like, "Are y'all for real? I'm gonna trip and fall into this shit."
You would get some views on that stage.
You know?
All right, so let's end it on this one.
Yeah.
Why are we in this situation? Like, it's bigger. This is bigger than two people running for president, right? Like, why are we in a place where it feels like nothing's working, everything's broken? You got some people that be like, okay, it's all capitalism's fault. And then you have people that say, no, it's the government has become too big, or what is it? You pinpoint one thing.
It's a pretty. I mean, I don't know if I can pinpoint one thing. I think you definitely could blame the fact that this country is run by a bunch of 80-year-old clock punching, coming into work, not doing shit ass motherfuckers who are all just stealing from their conglomerates and running on this. They don't even. I mean, you look at like the Chuck Schumers and the Pelosi's and the McConnells. They're the worst people. Do you know what I'm saying? And they've been there forever, and people just keep voting them in. So that's a big part of it.
We're not electing our best.
We're not electing our best.
The best are not wanting to do it. Though,
I know,
because
that's
They
it's
don't
the
want
thing.
to run.
Yeah.
Like, who would want to run for president now? Your life gets demolished.
Right.
Everyone's like, why doesn't like Jeff Bezos or Elon? Why the fuck would they run?
Right.
Like, why would you ever run?
Right.
So I guess also capitalism because of that too. Like, there's no incentive to want to lead or do service. And again, I'm a fan of capitalism, but capitalism, the cons of capitalism are what we're seeing. That just, it's really just greed. That's why people like capitalism, because we're all greedy.
Right. Yeah. It's human behavior.
And frankly, we can pretend to, but most people don't give a shit about the lower class. They don't care. They just want to make more money. And I think like that's capitalism, and that's what we were bred in, and we're just seeing the results of that plus technology. And in a country and in a world where big tech runs everything, people are just getting chewed up and spit out because unfortunately the way that this is really just the way the world works, survival of the fittest, you cannot compete with the machine.
Right.
And unless you know how to play with the machine, which is why you see people who know how to play the algorithm game, you know how to work social media, unless you are, in a career field like a doctor or a lawyer where, as of right now, you're not as impacted.
Right.
Most people just can't, And so when it comes to voting, like they have to be sheep.
Yeah. I heard somebody describe this not too long ago, that all politics is getting convincing uneducated people to vote for you. That's
Yeah,
what it is.
I mean,
It's
literally.
just a sales game.
Literally.
I think my opinion is there's really two issues at hand. One is the whole algorithm argument. The fringe is the one that benefits the most from it, right? Like the most extreme batshit opinions are the ones that are getting all the attention.
Right.
And then the second problem is, and this is on both sides of the political aisle, is that there's no longer a gatekeeper in the media that is designed to deliver just factual truth and let people draw out their own opinions, right? You have conservative media, you have liberal media, where they're trying to form the opinion in your mind through the delivery of their content and not just give you facts. So you almost have to listen to both sides and then try to draw your own opinion. And we all have confirmation bias. You're not going to do that.
Right.
You're not going to do that. So because of that, the people that are the loudest and the media not having a gatekeeper, and the fact that the middle, the 80%, are generally not really speaking up that much, or they're whatever they are saying is not getting attention or garnering the attention because they're not picking up on the algorithm game, then all of a sudden it seems like only the crazy opinions are the ones that exist, and that's just not the case.
Right. So
and that's what's creating a lot of the problems that we have.
Yeah, I agree. How much of this do you think is like the capitalist structure it's not perfect. I personally think it's the best we have, and I think it does tap into human behavior. Right.
I agree.
But I also do believe that like from a person, like a soul value, we're all equal. I don't think all people are equal in the marketplace, right? There's people that have different talents than others. There's people that are willing to sacrifice more than others. So you do see that play out in that system. But you also see a lot of regulation and government involvement to protect people from getting hurt as well, right? How much of that do you think plays into it? For example, we saw 2008, the system should have started over almost, right? 2020, that should not have been how this thing played out, right? You should have had businesses allow to try and stay alive. There should have been no money printing. The thing should have dropped significantly and been like a refresh, right? So how much of this is an inflated economy that the government will not let reset, and when it doesn't reset, you have homes that are worth $500,000 that should be worth $100,000, right?
Yeah, it very much exists, and honestly, the one of the big issues that we have here is that we're not capitalistic as much as we should be in the view of some people, and we're not as socialist as we should be in the views of some people, right? Some people think government does too much, other people think government doesn't do enough. Right. And there should be a balance in that, just like with everything else, right? There should be a free market society with some checks and balances that the government provides to make sure that there aren't bad actors that are taking advantage of people that wouldn't otherwise know. So I think you need a little bit of both in order to protect the people. 2008 versus 2020, we just printed way too much money. I mean, it's just the reality. We intervened way too much in the private sector when COVID happened, and we're gonna feel the ramifications of that for a while.
Our kids are
and the
gonna
bigger
feel it.
problem is none of the politicians are really willing to take this thing head on, right? 80. None of them
They're
like
gonna be dead soon. They don't
like,
care.
like which politician is really going to step up and say, guys, we got to lock down the spending. We got to get the debt under control.
None of them, because
We
it doesn't
can't-
get them
because-
reelected.
No.
Well, and they might die. But
Again,
it's not going to get them
the
reelected.
incentive structure is not designed to do what's in the best interest of the people.
And all the people that are paying the lobbyists,
Yeah, that's
the
another thing.
banks, they're just lining their fucking pockets. So why would they?
Right.
And the agencies they just should abolish the whole the SEC is a fucking joke. Like, it's just all a mess. It's overinflated. I mean, this is a whole other podcast. It's why I'm like, most of my money is in crypto.
Right.
It's just, it's like the dollar is, if you're not in real estate already, which I'm not, I'm terrified to buy right now. Because I'm just like, I'm going to buy, and the minute I buy, they're just...
Well, hold on. Let's talk about, though. What makes you terrified to buy real estate right now?
Ooh, great question. This is going to help. This is like a...
I wanted to give you something.
This
for
is
your
open
show.
source right now. Let's
You
go
like that?
straight to the
Let's get there.
Yeah, why are you concerned?
I just, I think rates are fucking insane, and at some point they're going to come... I mean, I guess I could refinance, but I don't know. I just, what would be my incentive? I'm curious what you think. Other than the passive income and having money in something I own. The only reason I would buy is because I'm sick of renting and paying money for a place I don't own.
Well, it depends. Are we talking about buying a home, or are we talking about buying investment property?
Buying a home, I guess.
Because they're going to be you're going to get two different answers.
Yeah, I guess give me both.
Right, buying a home.
Yeah, let's talk both, because investment wise, is my money better in Bitcoin or is my money better in
Right. This is a good question.
Yeah.
So and add to any of this that you want. The benefit for you to buy a house is it's yours, right? You get to do whatever you want
which is why I
to
would
that
buy
house.
Because I like making stuff and having my own thing. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
There's nobody that's going to come in and go, Gino, man, love you as a tenant, but I'm going to move back in. You got to get out.
For sure.
Right? You have some type of control over your cost of living, right? Rent's not going to go up in theory. And you have a built-in savings account. You've got a home that's going to force you to pay it every month, and a percentage of that is going to go towards your principal. And a lot of people rely on that when they get older.
That makes that is like I'm much more willing to buy a house to own for
Right.
that. I want to talk investing.
That's basically it.
But
in my
that's
perspective.
the point though, right? Because the way this conversation started, where you said like there's no way, I think you were looking at it through the lens of my home purchase for where I'm going to live is an investment decision, and it's really not an investment decision. This is what we tell people all the time. It's that if you want to build a home for you and your family, you buy the house. Don't buy the house with the expectation that 10 years from now, 15, 20 years from now, this thing is going to appreciate by X. And that's the determining factor by which I'm making the decision to buy, because it's not an investment.
Yeah.
And that's the way at least I look at it. A lot of people see it as like the American dream for the purpose of it creating this nest egg in retirement. To me, I just see it as like, this is where I want to raise my family. And that's really
Well,
the
I guess
decision.
my to that point, before you go on, like I'm 31 and not married and like plan on making way more fucking money. So like, should I just wait till I'm going to get like my house if I'm buying for that reason? Do you know what I'm saying?
How I look at it,
Yeah.
if I could go back, I would have waited as long as I possibly could to buy a home. If I
Yeah.
could go back.
Yeah.
But I would have put more money into rental properties early as opposed to
Yeah.
putting everything into owning my home.
Yeah.
But most people don't look at it like that. Like, you got to know, most people look at their home as their investment.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah. And
I-
that's why I'm not buying, because I'm like, I'm going to buy a home that's not my forever home. And then when I go to sell it to get my forever home,
Right.
I'm going to get fucking smoked because.
Yeah,
You know?
if you're looking at it as an investment,
Yeah,
yeah. Like,
yeah.
that's how I went into it. I bought in 2005.
Yeah.
3 years later, I lost, 200
That's
grand
what I'm
in the
saying,
house,
yeah.
right? But I don't think I was looking at it right. Like, I can't tell you how many fights I got in with my wife because she wanted to do something to the house. And I was going, we're going to put 25 grand into the kitchen. We're not going to see that money when we sell it. Like, that's a terrible investment. And she's going, this is our house. This is where we live.
Yeah.
This is where I cook every day. This is like, what do you mean no? That I
Are you
could
still
have
in that house?
No.
You left
We
the house.
sold it. And I told my wife, like, I'll never again look at our home as an investment. Now, when you move into investments, right? Like, why would you invest right now?
Yeah.
Okay, now we're gonna go back to your homeboy. What was his name? The Southern guy that bought 10
Oh,
properties.
if you buy 10 homes,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
His name, but yeah.
So look, when you buy an investment property, you're buying something that in theory can appreciate. So you talking about holding cash or, the value dropping, you can eliminate that risk, right? You get some cash flow that comes in. So now you have money coming in every month that pays you, right? You get depreciation loss. Do you know how this works?
Kind of. Yeah.
So this is kind of the one that not a lot of people talk about. It's insane because this is how all the people make money and don't pay taxes for it, right? You are allowed to depreciate your asset, right? So if you bought $1 million apartment building, right? Maybe you paid $1.3 million for it, but the apartment itself is worth $1 million, right? They're going to let you depreciate that $1 million over 27 and a half years. So you divide 27 and a half by $1 million and you get, what is that? 26,000 a year to depreciate. So if that property brings in any less than $26,000 of income, you're not paying taxes on it, right? You're not showing a gain. Then what they allow you to do is they allow you to accelerate the depreciation. So, there's certain items in your property that don't take 27 and a half years to depreciate. So they'll let you take those and maybe do it over 5, right? So now maybe you can depreciate $600,000 in 5 years. Then there's an add-on stack where you can accelerate or do bonus depreciation and capture. You used to be able to capture 100% of it year one, right? So now you get like potentially that 600 grand of loss all in year one. And now you're like, oh, I just sold $100,000 of taxes now, or of stocks. Now I don't have to pay gains on that, right? So there is a tax component to this that's insane, right? But on top of that, I would say kind of the biggest driving factor that would have me invest right now, it's impossible to time the market. It is impossible, right?
Yeah.
And what we're seeing right now is 2 years ago, we had investors going, the economy is over. We're going to get smoked. There's going to be blood in the water. I'm going to wait for that.
Me?
Right.
Yeah.
2 years later, we now have those investors going,
Fuck.
what happened? It's
When?
not here, right? Like the values, the cap rates might have softened, right? Which means the value in theory should go down. But because of inflation, rents have gone up, and now it's like a neutral, net neutral. And everyone's going, now I'm, paying the 6% of inflation I paid last year and the 8% in inflation I paid the year before, I'm out here losing money by waiting, you know?
Yeah.
And the bigger thing is, in my opinion, when everybody's scared like this, that's where you often see the greatest opportunity, right? And so the ability to go out and capture assets and deals where if you have a 10 or 20-year outlook on your investment strategy, it's, I'm going to go in on this now when nobody else is, when everybody's running in this direction, I'm going to go in that direction. I'll go against the grain. I'm going to do these deals 20 years from now, or 5 years from now, rather. That's when they're all going to come back around. I will already have the asset or assets. Yeah. And I'm going to hold it for the next 10 or 20 years. I'm a long-term guy. I don't care about the ebbs and the flows that take place in any given year. I'm in this for the long haul, and I really want to build, generational wealth for myself, to create a legacy for my family. And as a general rule of thumb, we've kind of come to the realization over the years in business is that whenever everybody's talking or running in one direction, go the opposite.
Yeah.
But you asked like crypto, like why not just put in crypto, right?
Well,
which you're in.
yeah.
Look, are you in Bitcoin at all? In Ethereum, some of the, right?
Yeah, Bitcoin, ETH, yeah.
Okay, so you've got some of the more stable coins.
Yeah. Well, I also play in the degen playground.
Okay, so even take those ones out, right? Look at the more stable ones.
Yeah.
They still fluctuate like crazy.
Of course. Yeah.
Right? So what people will say as far as real estate goes is, I'd rather put a portion of my money into something that doesn't swing like that.
Yeah.
That's kind of stable.
For sure.
And then I'm put another portion of my money in the wild stuff. And if I hit, but there's a good chance I lose it as well.
Yeah.
People just got like super ultra greedy with, I think, the crypto stuff and mortgaging their house, getting a
that's
second
a whole
mortgage,
other. I mean, we could
going so heavy
because we're going to have to do a round 2 at this. This is what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
I am looking forward to the day that Gino posts, I bought 10 properties by the age of 40.
I'm waiting for him to announce his presidential campaign.
It'll be around the same time, probably.
I love it. My man, thank you.
Dude, thank you. What a blast.
Greatly. Heck yeah.
Yeah. Can I plug myself?
Plug, baby, plug.
Yeah, fuck yeah. At Gino the Ghost on all socials. That's Gino, the only way to spell it, not with an E. Good Luck with Gino is the name of the podcast. You can find it on all places that you would consume podcasts. And the video is on YouTube. I look this fresh on every episode. So, tune in.